Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? All right, let's get back to the Zim dollar as well as the Vietnamese dong. As we are aware, usually around sometime in May, the currency manipulation report comes out. And then we usually see it sometime in June, so it is out. Is Vietnam on that list? And what is going on over there in Zimbabwe? Is that gold currency continuing to support the stabilization of their currency as well? Let's look in. Before we get started, do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button. And if you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I certainly do appreciate it. If you're thinking about buying gold, silver, or any other precious metals, head on over to our friends at Money Metals Exchange. The link is down below in the description, or just type in www.moneymetals.com/pimpy. If you make a purchase when you follow that link, you will automatically be entered for a chance to win 10 free silver ounces. So get started today, and hopefully your stack will start to look like this real soon. So head on over, tell them Pimpy sent you. You can follow me over on other platforms. I do have my own group over on Facebook called Pimpy's Investment Chat. Over here we do talk about gold, silver, cryptocurrencies, as well as foreign currency investments. So head on over here and join us. It's free to do so. In here, I do post updates. If I should get on suspension from YouTube or get removed from YouTube and you want to know what happened to me, I'll let you know right here in this group. I can be found on Twitter, MeWe, YouTube, and the cool thing about YouTube, if you come over here and you join and you find my channel, I got videos going back, I believe, a couple years. So if you want to see some older videos that I have on Nasera, Jacera, gold, silver, cryptos, come on over here and join. Look me up and check out my videos. You can also find me on Odyssey. Catch me on Rumble. When I say that the links for all these are down below in the description, some of you don't know what I'm talking about. It's real simple. Just go down to the bottom right here of any of my videos. See this? This is the description. Hit show more. And there are all the links to all the platforms I just spoke about. So if you do want to head on over to Money Metals, just click it. And there you are. So come on over. Join us. I look forward to having you. Okay, so as I stated, the currency manipulation watch list has come out. Vietnam is excluded from the watch list, and it only started becoming excluded once Joe Biden was in office. Vietnam has continued to be excluded from the U.S. Department of Treasury's monetary list of currency manipulators in its latest report on macroeconomics and foreign exchange policies of major trading partners with the U.S. But somehow, some way, Vietnam continues to have a huge surplus in trading with us. So the State Bank of Vietnam said that the report, released on June 17th, continued to base on three criteria to make assessments, namely trade surplus with the United States, current account surplus, and persistent and one-sided intervention in foreign currency markets. In the report, the U.S. Department of Treasury placed 7 economies on the monitoring list of major trading partners that merit close attention to their currency practices and macroeconomic policies. Compromised, of course, of China, that's been manipulating for a long time. China, Korea, Germany, Malaysia, Singapore, Switzerland, and Taiwan. It is saying during the period of monitoring, Vietnam exceeds only one of the 3 criteria on trade surplus, so is excluded from the monitoring list. If we go down just a little bit, it says the SBV has reportedly affirmed the consistent target of Vietnam's monetary and foreign exchange policies is to help control inflation, stabilize the macroeconomy, and ensure safety for credit institutions. It has been making efforts to gradually modernize and promote the transparency of monetary and foreign exchange policy frameworks. The bank has governed foreign exchange rates in a proactive and flexible manner that matches the development levels of its foreign exchange markets and economic factors. It has not used the foreign exchange policy to create an unfair competitive edge while ensuring the foreign exchange market stable and smooth operations to help with macroeconomic stability. It added that it will continue governing the monetary and foreign exchange policies in the above-mentioned manner and actively coordinate with ministers and sectors to work on the issue of the U.S. side's concerns in the cooperative and goodwill spirit. So Vietnam continues to stay off the currency manipulation list. Not that this list has any credence to it, because we know that depending on your relationships with the United States has a habit of overlooking certain violations and finding ways to keep you off the currency manipulation list. And I think that's the case with Vietnam. We know Vietnam's currency was struggling against the U.S. dollar. Every time they hike interest rates, it damages the Vietnam currency. So we should see positive news coming up here since the Federal Reserve has decided not to hike the interest rates. So once again, we get another report. This came out today. Zimbabwe aiming for a single currency in stages. Zimbabwe's been trying to work on just doing a single currency for the longest time. They keep saying they're going to do it. But here's where the problem comes in. They make it a law that you have to use only their local currency. But then the government themselves doesn't even use the currency. They use U.S. dollars. So you know that old saying, practice what you preach, and that's not being done in Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is aiming to have a single currency, but it is doing so in stages. The governor of the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe said, "Our vision is to have a mono currency, but for now, we're going in stages. We need to get economic fundamentals right to have a stable inflation and exchange rate. The country is dealing with structural challenges, and people prefer to hold on to the U.S. dollar as a store of value at the expense of the local unit." The governor of the bank ruled out further interest rate increases because they would have potentially negative repercussions. But it's not just that. They have an election coming up, and I'm sure right now the government that's in charge doesn't want to do anything to piss off the voters, so there's no interest rate hikes at the moment. But there are other things we should pay attention to. This is important because the United States has input on the economy over there in Zimbabwe. So depending on who the leader is, if they don't like them, they can squeeze them. Zimbabwe elections 2023. What you need to know. Zimbabwe heads to the polls in August, so that's coming up, against the backdrop of one of the world's highest rate of inflation and accusations of an intensifying crackdown on the opposition. Longtime president Robert Mugabe, I believe is how you say it, was deposed in 2017, but many say that little has changed. The president that was there was removed by the military, and the current president that's there is running, of course, but pay attention to what this is. In the run-up to the vote, questions linger over how free and fair the ballot will be in a country that is trying to rehabilitate its image. So they're concerned about election interference as well. Just so you're aware, the gold currency was helping the Zim dollar, but recently it started to tank, and the president that is there is claiming that his economy is being sabotaged by the opposition. So let's pay attention to what he has to say. Mugabe claims economic sabotage by detractors as Zimbabwe dollar nosedives, prices skyrocket. So the president has warned elements which he claims are working to derail the country's economic stability, piling pressure on ordinary citizens as the country heads to the polls in the next couple of months. The Zim currency has lost much of its value on both the local and parallel markets in recent weeks, while physical and monetary authorities have admitted that the local currency depreciation was partly prompted by increased liquidity injected into the economy after payments made to government contractors. Adding party supporters recently, the president claimed that the opposition was working with the West to derail economic progress in a bid to cause an uprising ahead of the August polls. Now, why would the West or the United States oppose this current president? Well, as a lot of us are aware, there is this movement going on by major corporations everywhere, this ESG scoring and all this other crap. And they're trying to shove the alphabet movement down everybody's throat. Recently, the vice president went over to the African countries to meet with leaders there who all rejected her attempt to get them to allow the LGBTQ++ to 0x6 AB MYZ community, allowing them to have rights. And every leader rejected this. Recently, the current president in Zimbabwe was approached in Davos and interviewed, and let's listen to what he has to say about gay rights.
This new constitution, in the past, we had no limit terms of leadership in the country. But the current constitution, which came into effect on the 22nd of May 2013, gives limits. Maximum is 2 terms for any president, and I'll abide by that.
So let's not count this term. Let's say you stand for election. Let's say you've got another term. You could be president for the next, what, 5, 10 years?
It's only 10 years. The first term will be 5 years. Then another term is for 5 years. If I win the elections, that's the basis of how one becomes leader.
And you've already pledged.
He's already done 1 term. He is trying for a 2nd term. Their terms are 5 years at a time.
Independent monitors from the African Union, from the European Union, and from others to come and monitor the elections.
Absolutely. I have said that this time around, we are going to have fair, free, and credible elections.
Isn't that terrible that all around the world, citizens are concerned about rigged elections? And I mean all around the world. You would think by now, with all the advancements we made in technology, there would be a way to have an election done properly without interference.
And to do so, you must open the space for people to come and observe. That is our region, the continent, the EU, and other member states of the United Nations who apply to come and observe our...
I know you're busy with time, and I have a couple of areas I just need to dwell on. On the question of human rights, on the question, for example, of same-sex rights, never mind same-sex marriage or anything like that that might be in the future, for want of a better word, gay rights, the overturning of laws against homosexuality. Can you promise me today that you will do that?
I'm a constitutionalist. The current provision in the Constitution forbids same-sex marriages and uphold that until that issue in our country is not an issue of the political party.
They're so against gay marriage that they actually included it in their constitution.
Not same-sex marriage. I'm talking about same-sex relationships. Never mind, we can put marriage to something. I'm talking about same-sexual activity.
In our current constitution, it is banned.
Are you going to lead a campaign?
No, I will not lead a campaign.
Why not?
Those people who want that are the people who must canvass for such things, so that if they're able to win majority in amending the constitution, they would amend it. But it's not my duty on that issue to say I want to campaign for this. No.
Of course it is your, with respect, Mr. President, of course it's your duty. It's your duty to uphold human rights as recognised by the United Nations and as recognised by the countries.
It's my duty to obey my constitution.
Correct.
I would not be persuaded to violate my constitution. Currently, my constitution says what I have said. But the constitution does not forbid people with different opinions. They must canvass with the opinions which they have.
So I'm asking for your opinion, both as a man and as president. Are you in favour of changing the constitution on that issue?
No, I am not. It's never a priority in Zimbabwe to deal with that issue. During 2013, when everybody was able to canvass, those who canvassed for that position lost. We go by the majority view of our people. And currently, the majority view is what I am stating.
So what's this have to do with the currency, Pimpy? Well, let me explain to you. If you have BlackRock, Vanguard, all these major corporations, the Soros Foundation, who invest in companies all around the world, who have the ability to bring outside investors into your country, and they're trying to push an agenda on your country that you don't support, well, then they can make life miserable for you. They can make life miserable for your citizens. And that's what's going on. Kamala Harris went over there to try to get African leaders to support gay rights, and she was shut down immediately. They want nothing to do with that. And like I stated, it isn't just illegal there. It is in their constitution. It is against gay rights. So no same sex, no gay rights, no nothing over there, and they don't support it at all. So when the president said that his opponent, along with the West, is trying to sabotage his economy to cause an uprising to have him lose the election, you can understand why. There's no big changes in the currencies. It's interesting that other YouTubers have stopped reporting on them altogether. So Vietnam has avoided the currency manipulation list again, and Zim dollars are crashing at the moment, probably up until election, and we'll see what happens afterwards. Anyways, that's it for now. I'll get at you later. I'm out.